Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the August 1st, 2023 Hempstead Town Board meeting. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Yes, we have Supervisor Clayton.
That would be me here.
And Councilman Creedy.
I am also here.
Councilman Dunn.
You?
Councilwoman Miller. Here. Councilman Muscarella. And Councilwoman Ryder.
Here.
I'm going to ask Councilwoman Rowe to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And Madam Clerk, would you please call the first public hearing?
Yes. We have the petition of the Commissioner of Buildings to demolish and remove the two-story wood frames, one-family dwelling with attached garage, and remove all litter and debris from the property in Seaford.
Okay, any member of the board wish to be heard on this? I do not have any slips. Any member of the public not signed will just refer to item number 1. If not, I please have a motion.
I move the public hearing be closed.
Scary.
I'm sorry. I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
I second that.
Supervisor Clayton.
Aye.
Councilman Creedy.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller. Councilman Muscarella. Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding regulations and restrictions to limit parking in Belmore, North Belmore, and North Merrick.
Any member of the board wish to be heard? Okay, have any slips? Any member of the public that did not sign in wish to be heard on item number 2? If not, may I please have a motion? Be please.
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clayton.
Aye.
Councilman Creedy.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding parking of standing prohibitions in Elmont, Lakeview, North Belmore, North Merrick, Roosevelt, Seaford, and West Hempstead.
Okay, any member of the board wish to be heard on this? I do not have any slips on item number 3. Any member of the public wish to be heard? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second that item.
Supervisor Clayton.
Aye.
Councilman Creedy.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding arterial stops in Merrick, Oceanside, Point Lookout, near Valley Stream, and Wantagh.
Okay, any member of the board wish to be heard? All right, I don't have any slips on item number 4. Any member of the public who not signed in wish to be heard on item number 4? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move that the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clayton.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding U-turns prohibited in Garden City South.
Any member of the board wish to be heard on this? I do not have any slips. Any member of the public wish to be heard on item number 5? Not signed in? Okay, now may I please have a motion?
Move the public hearing be closed and adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clayton.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding bus stops in North Merrick.
Okay, any member of the board wish to be heard? Are there any slips on item? Any member of the public not signed in wish to be heard on this item? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clayton.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a resolution adopting the Town of Hempstead public parking field maps showing parking regulations at certain parking fields in Levittown, Merrick, and Wantagh.
Any member of the board wish to be heard? I do not have any slips on item number 7. Any member of the public that signed in on item number 7? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the resolution be adopted.
Second.
Supervisor Clayton.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
And Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed handicap parking on public streets in Elmont, Inwood, Oceanside, Roosevelt, Seaford, and South Hempstead.
Okay, any member of the board wish to be heard on this item? I do not have any slips on item number 8. Any member of the public not signed in wish to be heard on item number 8? If not, may I please have a motion?
Move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second. Supervisor Clayton.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, please vote on that.
We have the application of A.B. Melbourne LLC for variance from the provisions of the GSS ordinance to operate a self-service at an existing service station and to operate a convenience store, demolish the existing gasoline service station to construct a one-story, 26-foot by 46-foot convenience store, install fuel dispensing pumps, construct overhead canopy over 3 pump islands, other associated site improvements including grading, landscaping, paving, parking, curbing, and lighting, and to modify and rescind existing restrictive covenants in order to modify a previously approved site plan in Melbourne.
All right, I see, that's Kevin O'Brien. If you have address, morning.
Yes, good morning, Supervisor Clayton, Deputy Supervisor Boothby, honorable members of the board. Let's see this is. Kevin O'Brien from O'Brien Law, PC, 462 Sagamore Avenue, East Williston, New York, here in connection with this application on behalf of the owner and applicants. Basically, we previously had a public hearing in connection with this matter. I'd like to sort of report it back to the board, subsequent to that public hearing. We were able to, we had a little confusion, I've got to be honest with you. We had 2 different architects that were working on the project, and maybe not a good idea to have 2 different, everybody's got their own idea on thoughts and design and the like. So we were able to sort of narrow down on one of the architects. We have resubmitted to the town a revised site plan. Now the dimensions and everything remain the same. But basically what we did is we incorporated a landscaping plan which we have coniferous or evergreen trees to act as a buffer on all sides of the property, obviously except the front. 8 feet in height, more than the required height by the town. We're going to upgrade all the fencing. The town's requirement is a 6-foot stockade fence. I prefer to try and match some of the fencing that's in the area. So like I noticed, I've been to the site several times, and in going to the site, I noticed then one of the neighbors has a 7-foot PVC type fence. So I prefer to try and match that and have that go all the way around. I reached out to as many people as I possibly could in connection with this. Some by phone, some by email. One thing I don't have, but I'd like to submit to the board. Quite frankly, I wasn't really thrilled with the design of the building. Maybe just my own personal opinion. And I know this has been sort of a mom and pop type of location for many years. It's been in operation, quite frankly, I think since 1928. But I think the architect, quite frankly, I didn't think really captured. So we have resubmitted the landscape plan, which I think is great. I've taken a few photographs, and if I could submit those to the board of a couple of designs that I think would be more appropriate for this location. And this is the type of design that I'd like my architect to go and put in. I think it blends in with the residential character of the area. So I'd like to just, so like I said, dimension-wise, everything is the same, but I just think this is much more fitting. I actually did speak with the mayor of Malvern, who had appeared here last time. We had a nice conversation about it. He had indicated, and he indicated, quite frankly, it's a mom and pop type of location. And we had given him the revisions that we made. I told him that we hadn't finalized with respect to the actual drawing of the building itself, but indicated, and he was very gracious, awfully nice. He says, look, he goes, I trust you because you're going to do the right thing. I said, look, I want to use the right materials. It's not going to be cookie cutter. This is going to be something that everybody's going to be proud of. So there's a couple of designs that I think would be more fitting, and the material is either brick or hardy plank, and I think it has sort of that, it captures that sort of residential character and we represent that we utilize something like this in connection with the application. We did, since the last time, I know the mayor did mention something about the fencing, and we did sort of upgrade the fencing. It's construction fencing on the site right now, but we did wrap it with mesh so that this way you don't see a construction site, in the middle of construction. So I think, I believe to the best we've addressed the concerns that were expressed at that meeting. We also indicated it's not going to be 24-hour location. It would be, reduced hours of operation at this location. So I believe, at least to my understanding, we've addressed the concerns that were expressed.
Mr. O'Brien, you're aware you have to go to the zoning board, so some of those modifications you can address there.
I'm not aware that we do have to go to the zoning board, because I was under the understanding that this board basically has the power and the authority to dispense with some of those different requirements. So my understanding is that we don't have to actually go. But we certainly would work with planning or anybody else. Like I said, I think the only thing that's kind of open, like I said, is some of these design things with respect to the building.
Mr. O'Brien, I know you submitted a number of photos here. So, listen, is this a bowling market?
No, it's not.
So I'm just not going to pay attention to the bowling market one.
Yeah, it was just, and the other reason I did that, Mr. Supervisor, was because A, it was a color photograph, B, it showed the brick, it showed like gooseneck lighting, it showed like, I just thought that this is sort of a sample of the type of building that I thought would be appropriate.
Now, you said, obviously, you said you spoke to the mayor of Malvern, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and after you gave him, some of your comments and reassurances, did he make any sort of representation to you?
Yeah, he said he'd support the application.
Mr. Town Attorney, have you spoken to the mayor of Malvern?
I spoke to Mayor Sullivan yesterday, and I spoke to him no more than 10 minutes ago. He's actually on his way here. He had a village meeting, but he indicated to me that after speaking to Mr. O'Brien, he approved the project wholeheartedly.
Okay. And you took the time to talk to the residents, Mr. O'Brien?
Those, like I said, I met with some shortly after we had last time. Some gave me phone numbers, some didn't. I spoke to the ones that I had phone numbers for. The next door neighbor, expressed concern about the fencing and the sort of hedges and the buffer. Some didn't respond. So what I did was, one didn't have a phone number, so I sent an email with not with the photographs, but with the landscape and site plan that I have before you.
Just the one in particular about the fencing, you explained to him that you're going to try and match the fencing, as you made the reference here, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And did he seem receptive to that?
Which we'll call it. Well, yeah, right now there's on that side, it doesn't, on that side there's stockade fencing, which is in disrepair for that particular neighbor. And I had just mentioned that we'd be, quite frankly, I'd go with the wood fence, whatever they wanted. I would give them what they wanted to, if they want to pick it out. I think that since in driving around the neighborhood, quite frankly, most of it seems to be white PVC. I stood next to it, I'm 6 foot, and it was over my head. So I'm thinking it's roughly a 7-foot fence. So I thought that would be appropriate.
Okay. Any member of the board have any questions?
I have a question. Are you installing an irrigation system?
Yes, with the landscaping, yes.
Thank you.
In honor of the gentleman sitting next to me who definitely wants to ask this question because he does it at every one of our stations, will you have an American flag displayed?
Absolutely.
And Councilman Dunn not only served as a Marine, he likes to make sure everybody has a proper flag in front of every location. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm just
Thank you for
going
your service, and I try to, I try to limit the amount of American flags, because sometimes, you'll see some stations and they have like 9 of them, 12 of them. And I don't think that makes you more American. I think if you have one appropriately displayed, that's the way it should be.
I think that each individual business owner, as long as he has one, is fine. If he wants to have more, God bless him.
Okay, thanks.
But one really should be, especially in Malvern. We got an incredible American Legion post there, and people there are really, very, very patriotic. And their kids coming home from war would like to see the flag. So thank you for it.
Yeah, and I think if my recollection is correct, I think I drove through Melbourne recently, and I think that you just saw on a lot of the lampposts, and the decorative lampposts, a lot of American flags.
Thank you.
They also hang photographs of their veterans.
I like that. Yeah.
Banners.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. If there are any other questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them. Like I said, I'll work with anyone, relative to design and the like.
Here. Just give me 1 second.
And I do got to say, we've got some fantastic weather today, and as New Yorkers, when we get fantastic weather, we don't take days like this for granted.
I agree.
Mr. O'Brien, I want to wait until Mayor Sullivan gets here, so I'm going to ask the board to continue this hearing when the mayor gets here.
Sure.
Can I get a motion on continuation of this hearing when the mayor arrives?
So moved.
Second.
Supervisor Cleveland.
Aye.
Councilman Creedy.
Aye.
Councilman John.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Coscarelli.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Okay. In the interim, thanks if you do be on standby towards the end of the meeting. We'll continue then. Madam Clerk, can you call the next item?
We have the application of First Class Collision and Auto Repair Incorporated for a special exception to continue to operate a public garage for automotive repairs and to maintain temporary outdoor storage of vehicles under repair in conjunction with such use. And that's located in Montauk.
Good morning, if you name and address for the record.
Yes, good morning, Supervisor and council members. My name is Raymond Verdi. I am the attorney today for the petitioner, First Class Collision and Auto Repair, Inc. The application, as just stated, is for a special exception to maintain the operation of an auto repair shop as well as temporary outdoor storage of vehicles waiting to be repaired. The premises is 2918 Jerusalem Avenue in Montauk. My client purchased the property in the building approximately a year ago, at which time the property was in much disrepair. Since his ownership, he's expended quite a large sum of money repairing the place, getting it updated, making it look presentable again. And the property has been a repair shop for quite a number of years. It previously was a gas station. The tanks were removed many years ago, and it has continued to operate by the former owner as a 3-bay repair garage. So what we are seeking to do here is to get the change of use from a gas station to solely an auto repair shop, as well as the maintenance of assigned and designated parking spots to service the community as it has been servicing the community for many years. I believe that the documents submitted support that. The neighborhood supports it. It's certainly been there, and my client certainly is very anxious and is anticipating continuing a successful business at that location. Thank you.
Just so I know, right, you were saying that currently it's a gas station. What are the hours of operation currently?
It's a service station,
Right.
auto repair.
Right.
The hours of operation are Monday through Saturday, and I believe 8 until 5 p.m., and I believe 8 until 2 p.m. on Saturday.
Okay.
Closed Sundays.
And will there be any modification on that, just for clarification for me?
At this point, no, there would not.
Okay. All right. Is anybody else want to bring up in testimony? Yeah, I have a couple slips. That's the only reason why.
I had asked to have them in case they would need it. The architect is here, but at this point, I don't think it's necessary.
What's the name of your architect, just so I can...
Joseph Gabriel, sitting down.
Gotcha. And then, is George with you as well?
He's sitting as well.
Okay, it's fine.
Quiet.
Okay, all right. Any members of the board that wish to hear it, or any questions?
Just one thing. Thank you. Just an extension of what you have. It's not extending more parking into the neighborhood.
No,
Just want to make sure that's clear, it's on the record. And
it's
it's
just
just
housed within the same location.
perfect, good. Because I've gotten no complaints about up to date. So unless I hear complaints that you're parking in the neighborhood, okay? Overnight, so.
Understood.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other board member have any questions? Okay. I don't have any other slips on this item. Does any member of the public wish to be heard on item number 10 that did not sign in? Okay. Then can I have a motion?
Okay, over there, wait.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, how you doing? If you just come to the back and give your name and address for the record, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Gerard Hoffman.
Hi.
Gerard Hoffman.
How you doing, John? How you doing? Good. Just your address for the record. Thank you.
1234 Glenwood Road, Wantagh, New York. I'm right around the corner from the service station, right back.
Okay.
So since they moved in, they did increase the appearance of the building, let's say. And there are a few problems with the lighting. They had lighting on all the time, but they made adjustments to that. They're good neighbors. They have, though, added on recently another business, which is dumpsters, okay? And in the beginning, there was some loud crashes of the dumpsters going down on the side of the building. That wasn't previously there.
Listen. Go on, Scott. I'm listening.
Okay, very good. So since the initial, which is 4 or 5 months ago when they started this, maybe less than that, I haven't heard too many loud crashes. They've, marked on that somehow. They're careful. So that's good. The one thing we were worried about 25 years ago.
Being done there,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hold on.
was that because of the work being done? They're using the dumpsters?
No, it's a business. They have several dumpsters there. They have a truck lifts them up, takes them away, and that's been added on.
Okay.
So I just want to bring that to your attention. I don't know if you.
But when you said it's actually gotten a little better, is that right?
As far as the noise, yeah, the banging, the loud drumming, yes. I haven't heard that recently. I'm not home all the time. I'm on the go quite a bit. But my neighbor who lives right next to the building, he's Fire Marshal Bradfield's, he hasn't heard anything lately either because he insured his house a couple of times in the beginning when they were first, I guess getting used to moving those large containers. About 25 years ago, there was something brought before also to make it into a auto body repair shop, collision type of place. I just want to make sure that's not going to happen because they voted that down, paint spraying and all that different things. Repairs are fine, that's no problem at all, but I just wanted to make sure that they're going to make an additional, repairing in a collision shop type of thing.
Maybe the applicant's attorney can answer that question right now to put you at ease.
I'm done.
No, the intention of the applicant is to maintain it as an auto repair shop only. And as far as the issue of the noise, I think that may have been during the initial refurbishing of the building. There's no reason to be having large drums and he's indicated that it's quieted down, so I think that was just a temporary.
It's actually a nice comment to hear from the neighbor indicating, you know, your client's been very receptive and trying to be a good neighbor. We appreciate that.
You have a container business there now.
But we can check it out, but you're just reassuring him there will be no additional work there. So is that correct? Okay. Great. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate you coming in. Thank you. All right, with the, I don't have any slips. Is there a motion on item number 10?
I'm going to make a motion with the understanding that there's no auto body work being done, there's auto work being done. Yes. Okay, correct. So, okay, I'm going to the public hearing be closed and the board grant the application.
Can I get a second?
I second.
Supervisor Clayton?
Aye.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
Councilman Dunn?
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller?
Aye.
Councilman Mascarella?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Aye.
Council, thank you very much for your presentation, and again, tell your clients, I appreciate him, working with the neighborhood and talking to them. That's most of the time, that's how you avoid any issues, and we're always nice to hear that, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam Clerk, I'm going to recall item number 9. Okay? All right, just want to make sure. Mr. Town Attorney, is there something you want to add?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, I see that Mayor Sullivan is here, and I appreciate him coming, but based upon Mr. O'Brien's representations about his conversations with a number of people and the fact that his plan is amended, I'm going to ask that you consider making a motion to continue this hearing until our next town board meeting on September 6th, so that he can submit those amendments, and we can have the public speak with regard to them.
Okay, so Madam Clerk, you'll correct me. Would it be fair to say I'm going to make a motion to continue the hearing on September 2nd, 2023?
September 6th.
September 6th, 2023. See, Madam Clerk was all teed up, ready to get me there. Sorry.
That would be correct.
All right. Then can I have a second on that?
Second.
Mr. Supervisor?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think the mayor, made the effort to come here. Would he be able to make a couple of comments?
No, I'm going to, actually, Mr. O'Brien, all due respect to you, listen, and I appreciate, the mayor being here today. I don't want to hold your client, based on your representation. He's trying to move a project. You made an indication, and now I want to wait until the mayor has a chance to review the others. I'm sorry for your client. I think, the fact that you weren't really prepared for the hearing today, that you did not submit the documents in time is unfortunate for your client. But now I just want to make sure the mayor is going to get the documents beforehand. But the town board is extending, as a courtesy to the client, really the continuation of this hearing. Again, because he's trying to do some work down there. Your shortcomings as the attorney of representation, we don't want to hinder him too much. So with that, I'm going to ask that the motion be seconded.
Supervisor Clayton?
Aye.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
Councilman Dunn?
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller?
Aye.
Councilman Mascarella?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Next, I'm going to make a motion on the administrative calendar. Madam Clerk, please call it. 11 through 71.
Yes.
All right. Any member of the board wish to speak on any of that on the administrative calendar? All right. I know that I have a couple of slips on the administrative calendar. We will start with our very own Phyllis Percassi. What? Oh, we'll do a second on it first. Can I get a second on the administrative calendar? You're going to move?
Supervisor Clayton?
Aye.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
Councilman Dunn?
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller?
Aye.
Councilman Mascarella?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Aye.
It was fair representation to make that Councilwoman Miller seconded that. Is that correct? Okay. Mr. McCowney, your name and address. Good morning. Nice to see you as always.
Chief Franklin Square. On number 14, regarding
turf system for the town of Hempstead Animal Shelter. What are the conditions and circumstances encountered that caused the additional $5,400 increase?
Okay, I know, Commissioner, yeah. Oh, hey, you. And just give me a name, morning. If you're gonna name and your title for the record.
I'm Ashley Barons, I'm the acting director of the animal shelter. This was a grant through the state that we did the play yards at the animal shelter. So there were 2 play yards. The grant went through the state and the town is matching the state grant for it.
Yeah, okay, but the thing is, it said that this conditions and circumstances that cause a $5,400 increase. So that's the question. I'm not sure if that was answered.
I think probably insulation was probably an offset that wasn't covered by the grant, so the town's making the difference to the animal can enjoy the turf.
And I just want to know if there was additional square footage, because the other bidders, were they given that information? And that was my concern.
Yeah, no, I got you. No, there wasn't any change in the square footage of it at all. It was probably just the, you're correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was just additional costs that came up on the insulation on the initial one. That's all.
Number 37, on the placement of animals at various rescue organizations. I didn't see anything in the resolution talking about the costs of that, and are they going to be just, you know, the services that they're going to render, or is it just housing the animals, or are they going to be offering any other services like training, you know?
Okay, so this is for our animals that go into rescue. Depending on the animal, the particular length of stay, the rescue that takes them, and what is required for those animals. So if it's a longer-term resident that may have been in the shelter for a while, this is to try and help us have rescues pull these animals to put them into the proper training so that they can be placed properly after that. Invoices would have to be submitted. It's not a specific cost per animal. It's based on the training that they're needing and what each individual animal needs. It's to hopefully promote our long-term stay animals and have rescue groups step up to help pull them so they're not still staying in the shelter.
Okay, so it's when you bring an animal in, you know, to one of these places, you don't really have any idea what it's going to cost until then they're going to tell you what work they did, and then they'll send you a bill.
Right. So the theory behind it is board and train basically for our long-term dogs. A lot of them have been with us for a few years. So instead of just going straight from the shelter into a home, it's going to be hard for them to transition into that. So it's for boarding and training before that next stage. It's not just for dogs that just came into the shelter. It's more for the harder to place animals.
Okay, do we have any people on staff that can do training?
They are, but unfortunately the problem is training in a shelter is not equivalent to home environment. So to get them out of the stress of the shelter and really work one-on-one with them on a constant basis, when there's, you know, so many animals in the shelter, there's only so much training that can be done to get them ready for the home, and then sometimes more is required, especially for the long-term dogs.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pecan. And Ashley, let me just say thank you. I think you're doing a great job down there. And for anybody who didn't know, the Bow Wow Meow Luau was a big success. And you know what? You put it together. You did a great job. I was down there. It was a lot of good work. So thank you for the great work you're doing down there. Next I have James Davis. Morning, Mr. Jacob. If you give your name and address for the record, thanks.
Morning, Supervisor David. I don't know what that supervisor at. That's a booth we have at Sale Hotel and Council Prison also. James B. Jacobs, Union Foster Cash Court. I just need on item number 18 point of clarification of the emerging camp attendance at Roosevelt Field on 7, 11, and 12, and what area that served, and what's the emerging contaminant, what type of contaminant it is. And thank you for letting me speak.
Okay, you got it. I know you have the commissioner here is going to come on up here and address that. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Supervisor Clayton, members of the town board, Commissioner Reinhardt, Town Hempstead Development Water. The work being done at 7, 11, and 12 is related to 1,4-dioxane. It's part of the $150 million commitment that the town board made to removing that contaminant from our water based on new regulations put in place.
Okay, but just point of, did well number 7, 11, and 13, but what Hamlet's that's just strictly Roosevelt Field or the surrounding area?
Those are Roosevelt Field water unrestricted wells.
Now, just point of clarification also, do we have the same program in place for the Greendale well system also?
Wells 5 and 6 on Oak Street, the treatment there is almost completed.
Oh, so
That was the first well site that we did work on, yes.
Oh, okay, thank you for that. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. I don't have any slips on the administrative calendar. Anybody who'd sign in wishes to be heard? Great, if you could give me name and address for the record, thank you.
Earl Jacobs, Uniondale. Item 11. Question is, the address of that location, please?
Deputy Commissioner.
Yeah, good morning, Supervisor Board, Deputy Commissioner Dan Leo, Building Department. The address that you're referring to is 897 Front Street in Uniondale. That building, it's a mixed use proposed. There's an application that we're waiting to come back from the board and get approved. It's down by the, waiting on county approval for 239.
Okay, so can you, what's 239, please?
239 is basically a site plan approval from the county.
Okay, thank you. And items 40 and 41, I just need clarification regarding the awnings and facade project. Can you shed some light on that, please?
Yeah, can we get the Commissioner walking up there? If we give him a couple of seconds. Because the other Deputy Commissioner can walk faster than John. John, if you identify yourself, that'd be great. Thanks.
Good morning, Supervisor, members of the Town Board. John Rockham, Commissioner of Planning. What this is for is, these are resolutions to do the facade program in the DRI in Baldwin. So once we start the facades, these contractors will just go from store to store, putting up the awnings, the electric, and the signs.
So this is exclusively for Baldwin, correct?
That is correct.
And as part of that,
The DRI grant, yes.
okay. Are there any future plans for facade improvements in Uniondale?
Well,
I'm just.
if you'd like, I know, it's just, I just want to stay in 40 and 41. They're for Baldwin. If you wanted a follow-up conversation, you could talk to them. I don't want to speculate on given dates. So if you have something
Okay,
on
so
the
I'll
calendar.
ask a question, I'll make a statement, I'll follow up with them as well at a later date, but
Okay.
Uniondale has, they haven't had, and they have deteriorating facades, okay? I see your poster boards out there, that Uniondale downtown improvements, people are asking me what that's all about, I really don't know. Perhaps, I'll send you the email, you can explain what's going on. I do see some lights being put up, I was not aware of that, I do see, a few, sidewalk as far as imprinting, pavers, but the whole issue is that Front Street, which is not your issue, it's a state road, Front Street's a state road, terrible ponding, deteriorating curves, and the roads are definitely uneven there. So, we put a little beautification up there. I do believe that's the money that Captain Rice had allocated many years ago, but the residents are asking, what is the scope of that project? So I will send you an email so you can get back to me and I'll get back to the residents.
It's great. Well, I'll speak to, it's a great idea. You know what? I'll speak to the deputy supervisor. That's okay. I'm going to talk now. I'll speak to the deputy supervisor, and perhaps John will work together with the deputy supervisor about getting a mailing out to the residents in there to give an idea of what we're doing in that community. That's a great idea. Thank you very much. It's a great idea.
I don't know the scope of that project. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any other slips. Anybody else? Okay. Make a motion to adjourn?
Actually,
Sorry.
can we just do a review on the vote?
On the administrative calendar? Madam Clerk, I'm going to make a motion to accept the administrative calendar, items 11 through 71.
Supervisor Clayton.
Aye.
Councilman Creedy. Aye. Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Okay. Now may I make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Supervisor Clayton.
Aye.
Councilman Creedy.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Okay, well, now the formal portion of the meeting's done. The town board will stick around to listen to comments of the residents. We have a couple of people signed here who would like to speak, and we'll start with Franklin Square Zone, Felix Mercado. If you can name that morning and name and address for the record, thanks.
Village of Pocatchig, Franklin Square. Last week I received a town-wide mailing which cost taxpayers about $50,000. Don Clayton claims to care about the environment but continues to waste natural resources and taxpayer money on mailings whose main purpose is for Clayton's self-promotion. To manufacture this mailing, dozens of trees and thousands of gallons of water were required. If Supervisor Clayton really cared about the environment, he would allow residents to opt out of receiving all or some of these town mailings. A better idea, though, would make residents opt in to receiving only the mailings they want. This would ensure that people who really want these mailings receive them, and people who don't. This would save taxpayer money and be environmentally friendly. On another note, at the last meeting, the town attorney said he would send me the associated documents to several resolutions. I emailed the town attorney after the meeting with the resolutions that were lacking in the detail per state law, and the town attorney didn't respond to me. Do I need to foil these, or is the town attorney going to provide me with them?
John, Mr. Ricconti, if you have any requests, you send it in, obviously responded to.
Yeah. I know you're big on the flag. I mean, I'm big on the flag too, but the flag, one of the things it represents, the strength of our democracy, is rule of law. All people are treated equally under the law. And the rules of this town board meeting, some people get their questions answered during miscellaneous comment and some don't. That's fundamentally unfair. I mean, you can wave the flag all you want, but it's meaningless if you don't want to follow the law. I mean, I've talked here many times with FOIL. You blatantly violate FOIL. If you don't have the records, just tell me you don't have them. If you don't want to give them to me, just say you don't want to give them to me. You just ignore my request, you ignore my appeal, you don't send the appeals to the Committee on Open Government as required by law. Law is supposed to apply to everybody, not just some people. So I think you should respect the flag, and you should, more importantly, respect the law. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Ricconti. Next, I can bring up Mara Jacobitz. Mara? Okay. Next, I have Maria Priscilla. Maria? Okay. Next, I have Pearl Jacobs. Morning again.
Morning again, Pearl Jacobs, the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation has identified Unionville as a community that has been disproportionately affected by air pollution. Currently, traffic is horrific on Unionville Avenue, the north-south connection from the southern state to Mitchell Field. Residents are requesting that the EIS that's coming forward from the town include a traffic study of Unionville Avenue. A casino at the hub would further deteriorate Unionville's already compromised air quality. Being that we're a community that's been disproportionately affected by air pollution, sanctioned by New York State, we are requesting an air quality traffic study under the EIS for Unionville Avenue. Now, here I have an envelope, Uniondale's languishing lots. There are several lots in Uniondale. I just picked 3 and took pictures of 3 lots in Uniondale that have been languishing for anywhere from 5 to 12 years. No investment in Uniondale. The lots are causing visual pollution for our community. They're taking signage and they're plastering it all over the fences and the empty lots. 576 Uniondale Avenue, there's vegetation and weeds and everything growing through the cracks in the concrete. So this is visual pollution and lack of investment in our community. I have 2 sets of pictures here for both lots, except for you, Supervisor Clavin, and it's set for Ms. Guzzi. Okay? So we're tired of the language in lots of Unionville. We're tired of no investment. I don't know on your staff who does the, the investments or, looking around trying to get people to invest in our community. We have many needs. We can't even get a, and just to add on, I'm sorry, just to go back a little bit with the environmental conservation study and the poor air quality. We don't even have a urgent center in Uniondale. So those lots and those pictures will be going on social media. Okay, we're tired of the abandoned lots in our communities. And we hope that hopefully the town of Hempstead will address that. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Jacobs. Have a great day. Next, I'm going to call up Zach Rutis. Okay, Zach Rutis. All right. Bonnie Weinstein. Hey, you can just go to the back and give me your name and address.
My name is Bonnie Weinstein. I live at 3442 Bertha Drive, Baldwin. I've been here before. Could I just give these pictures? There was 10, but now one of my neighbors brought 2 more.
Ms. Weinstein, the clock is yours.
I'm sorry?
The time is yours.
3 years ago, this picture came out. It says public presentation for Baldwin Harbor shoreline stabilization. If you look at those pictures closely, the first thing was maintain the existing shoreline, prevent further soil erosion and sediment, allow access to the public, beautification of the project site, create new living shoreline, and increase tidal wetland area. Stabilization, basically. And in those pictures, you can see for yourself, there is no stabilization, there is no beautification. It's a garbage dump. We are literally losing sand and dirt. The canal is closing in, and that is the Oakwood Canal. I can no longer turn my boat around because it kicks up mud. I'm living here 50 years, and never in my life did I ever dream that that's how my backyard, or that's how the public would see what's happening. Is there anything that could be done as soon as possible? Because every year, every month that goes by, we lose more and more water. The Oakwood Canal is closing. That's what I have to say.
I'll be happy to relay it. I know this was an initiative that was started by then Governor Cuomo for the area down there. And but I'm happy to reach out to the state and talk to them about it. I'm sorry to hear that you can't turn the boat, but like I said, if you stick around here, we'll get your name and address, and I'll reach out to the state and ask them, about the progress of the work.
It's just not like turning my boat around. That's really not the issue. It's the beautification of Baldwin Harbor, the park. The gates are locked there. You can't get in. Nobody even goes to clean it up. There's wood, there's garbage.
Follow up and find out what the status is. If you stick around there, I'll ask Kathy Malone, right there, raise your hand, Kathy. Just going to get your name and address, we'll follow up with you.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Okay. You have a nice day. involved, Dennis? Morning, Mr. Dennis. Would you name and address for the record, thanks?
Yes. My name is Reverend Duval Dennis. I'm the pastor of Evangelization Baptist Church of Westbury, located at 859 Prospect Avenue in Westbury. We are here, I'm here because I see a suburban park Jewish center located at 400A Old Westbury Road at East Meadow, in New York, 11554. I see on the website, I see the place. I see on May 27, 2021, an inspection and a structural survey of the above refers two-story split level wood frame structure. Though it was observed that the structure exhibited a lack of maintenance and deterioration caused in part by long-term abandonment, meeting definition, and unsafe. Therefore, the structure must be repaired or demolished. Since the church at Westbury, we are interested in this building. I want to know who to contact to in case the church want to buy this building.
I don't know. First off, Danny, that's Danny Leo, that's the Deputy Building Commissioner, right there. So why don't you stick around and give him the address? I don't even know if it's in the town of Hempstead, but if not, we'll see if we can find any kind of record that point you in the right direction, okay? He's a good guy, he'll give you a helping hand. Next I have Patrick Keating. How you doing? Morning, if you give me an address.
Good morning, Mr. Flavin. My name is Patrick Keating. I live at 3448 Berthoud Drive, Baldwin Harbor. Another member of the community is here today and already spoke in regards to the Oakwood Canal and the project that took place beginning in 2020. The workmanship and the engineering department has created a failure, not just in my opinion, but you can see it, you saw some of the pictures earlier. I have a similar statement to be made. There are about three topics. One, with the engineering department not putting in any navigation with the change plan that they did to do the shoreline correction, the navigation has created a hazardous environment. We have no longer a sign on that side of the property, which is the closed off section of the Baldwin Harbor Park. The 5 mile an hour no wake zone, that's one thing that has no longer been put back after the construction. In addition, there's no postings to anybody that is a water traveler, whether it's with a kayak, a boat, what have you, that there is dangerous conditions. It's not a beach. And as a result, people are using it with their jet skis as they rent them from Freeport, come around and park their jet skis on there. And there's a lot of cavitation, a lot of damaged property because the actual engineering of it is a failure, which is clear in the photographs. Part two of my conversation with you is starting at approximately buoy marker KK2, which is a red buoy going into the Oakwood Canal, which is state channel moderated with the town of Hempstead's maintenance process. They have failed to keep the waterway available to us as boaters because there is a lot of sedimentary that is now inside that particular buoy channel that you cannot get through on a low tide. You hit the bottom. Whenever the town does come to witness walking through the park, they don't come with a boat. And they do not see at low tide, they come always during a high tide. They never come at low tide to witness what I'm talking about. part three, I'm glad I have 30 seconds left, is I would like to know, because there's a very bad word, it seems, in this town, in this county, in this state, the word dredging. They don't like it, nobody wants to hear it. But as a result of the town's project, the town of Hempstead project, through the state grant money that they received, and $4 million approximately, they have not recovered the damages that they put into the canal. And I believe, Mr. Clavin, that we need you to opine on that.
I know, I see my Deputy Commissioner of Conservation and Waterways there. He's going to follow up with you, and also in particular about that KK2. And I know my Commissioner of Engineering, and I know he and I sort of inherited this project from previous people in the state. If you could follow up on the signage too.
Sure.
And listen, when it comes to dredging, you know, we've been very fortunate at times to work with our partners. I always send Senator Schumer a thank you. You know, dredging's not cheap, and he's come a long ways. And look, we want people to enjoy themselves. We want people to enjoy their houses, and if we can work in any way to facilitate that with you, we will. But like I said, you know, and I know you're aware, this is something that Governor Cuomo pushed down here, and people signed on to it. But like I said, we want you to enjoy it, and these two gentlemen will follow up with you after.
Okay, one more question.
No, I got to jump around. They're not going to go. They're going to talk to you after. I promise you right now.
Is there another person I can communicate with other than the engineering department?
No, they're great. He's great, and you can get, and the Deputy Commissioner right there is a good guy too, especially about that marker, the KK2. Next, I have Marie May. Okay. Marcia Ditieri. Hey, doing if you give me name and address in the record.
Marcia Ditieri, Merrick, New York. The first thing I'd like to ask is, would the second person who didn't want tree preservation put into law tell me their name? I know it was Councilman Carini was one.
Ms. Ditieri, you know, your time to speak, so we're listening to you. I know, but, you know, we're listening to what you have to say.
I have articles here I'd like to submit. I did submit them via email. After the reading the town's newsletter informing about keeping cool due to ozone alert, higher heat indexes, and health concerns due to higher temperatures, why this board refuses to take steps to naturally cool the air by protecting trees. I have forwarded the board articles regarding keeping our environment healthy, protecting our health, including reduction of skin cancer from UV ray exposure, and cooling blacktop with native canopy trees that reduce temperatures up to 10 degrees. Articles from South Shore Audubon indicating that local bird population, pollinators that play a vital role in the environment, are in a decline because trees that are their only home are being removed. And that's a death sentence. Article also states that trees play a vital role in the ecosystem indicated by the Nassau County Soil and Water Conservation District. Also indicating that children who have green spaces near their homes promote more cognitive development and self-control. I have volunteered my services by walking through neighborhoods with you and asking residents if they would like a low or no-cost tree on the right-of-way, even if it's only on the right-of-way with no power lines. Less maintenance, letting the tree's canopy, ultimately cooling the air, oxygen, calmness, enjoying a shaded protective walk. Protecting the constituents should be the board's main priority, with town's arborists indicating the importance of pruning and maintaining trees as you would maintain your home. You can add that to the Around the Town newsletter. Educate, don't eradicate. I will give you additional copies of this information and important articles so many of your children can enjoy the things as we did as children, that include mature trees, canopied streets, and the calmness that trees provide to keep us healthy.
Thanks, Mr. Pierre. Hey, I just, I don't know if you saw on calendars 49, 50, 51, and maybe even 52. The town made a significant investment today, thanks to Councilwoman Ryder's passion in redoing our nature marine study down in Oceanside. That's going to be great. If you've never been down, you should go enjoy it. But I do want to say thank you, Councilwoman. Thank the residents and the thousands of kids who visit it yearly. Kate Murray really pushed it a long time. It was damaged. And, we're making a significant investment, so kudos to you and the town board for, taking something that was good and getting it done. And Marcia, I'm sure will go down there and enjoy it a lot. Next I have, you only signed in on my form, and I'm not trying to be impolite there, but it says Sandra from Uniondale. That's all it says.
That's all you need to know. My name is
Okay, listen, Sandra from Uniondale. If you want to just give your address, that'd be great.
I don't want people getting mad. My neighbors hate me because I'm determined to keep Uniondale safe. And I report you if you don't keep your yard clean, if you got old cars in your driveway. Him, today, Don Clavin board, community, dignitaries, people that got high positions. I need your cards because he's going to tell me to see you guys in a minute. I know that you guys really believe in Nassau County, one of the richest counties in the country. I believe you do. But often as a social studies teacher, I think to myself, how come things don't get resolved? I remember Pearl Jacobs used to be such a nice little light-skinned lady like Rosa Parks, and then she came up here one day and she let you have it, and I was a little mad at her, and I was surprised. Well, maybe she's frustrated. I'm going to keep being nice, because you get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. That's what they said. It's not working with my boyfriend, though. So anyway, I want to talk to you about the illegal car. I want to talk to you about all the traffic, the commercial vehicles. I'm going to go really fast. The commercial vehicles that's parked in people's homes, landscapers, construction. That's a huge problem with carcinogens, nitrogen. The trash cans in Uniondale are overfilled on Front Street. They put a lot of money on Uniondale Avenue. Front Street was the Forster child. They got nothing. The Nassau Road Strip Mall, where Family Dollar is, they got a party going on over there. All the brothers that don't have jobs and like to look cool outside, they go up there and gamble, and you can't even get into the stores up there. We need to really address that. It's a huge problem. Police patrolling in Uniondale, we need more of that now. Just write these things down. And I also have a list of houses with serious problems. We really got to try to resolve the homeless crisis. We're going to look like Manhattan pretty soon. At Uniondale Post Office, there's a guy named Scientific. That's what he called himself as a 5% of 50 years ago. I don't know what kind of science he's doing now, but he lived through COVID and he's sleeping in the post office. That's pretty bad because with those people, God, by the grace of God, goes out. But I'm sorry, I don't want to go in the post office and see Scientific lying in the post office with COVID, Ebola, MRSA, and he's living through it. We still have diseases that's going through here. It's a public governmental place. The trash cans in Uniondale are huge, and the commercial vehicles parked in driveways, and the illegal basement apartments. We don't want to become like Brooklyn and the Bronx. I'm from Missouri, I like space. So we got to really work on the code enforcement officers do a wonderful job. They're understaffed and undermanned. We got to do more about it because these laws are already on the books. And Uniondale, you heard about the boy, the basketball player killed on Front Street. It's overcrowded. Anything goes in Uniondale now. And if it was everywhere in Nassau County, I'd be fine with it. But it can't happen in Garden City. And I'm from Missouri, so I'm used to living really nice. So that's all I have to say, and thank you for your time, and please let's work on...
Sandra, thank you very much, because you know what, I do appreciate a little more honey at times. So I'll say this here right now. I know, I see, where's Carol? Carol Renter right there. She's going to take your number. I'll follow up with you in a couple, because I'd like to maybe have you, talk to a couple of the people in the departments. And I appreciate it, and you know what, maybe we could work with you to do exactly what you're looking to do. And I appreciate you wanting to work with us.
Me and you.
I have to buy. Listen, very, very nice. Thank you very much. Next I have Denise Alexa. How you doing? Give me your name and address for the record.
Denise Alexa, Town of Worcester Bay. An election with 338,000 more votes than voters cannot be certified. If your bank account was missing $338,000, would you call that a clerical error? We found 740,000 votes cast by illegal or invalid registrations in the official record according to the law. This has to be investigated. The law is being ignored. New York Citizens Audit found 1.1 million people with 2.4 million unique state voter identification numbers. This is illegal. No one presses enter by accident 1.25 million times. These records can be used to inject votes. 95 federal and state legislative races were impacted. Our research has been peer-reviewed and published. We are professionals in many fields doing this analysis. If we are wrong, prove it. Liberty is the fruit of dedication to the law. Our State Board of Elections acts like this is optional. Evidence that New York State election officials certified provably inaccurate elections has been presented and provided to this board several times. The law has been ignored. This has to be investigated. Our question to this board is, do you support the lawful administration of elections? 30 resolutions have been passed to date across the following 15 counties: Broome, 5, Cattaraugus, 2, Cayuga, 1, Chemung, 1, Shenango, 1, Erie, 3, Genesee, 2, Herkimer, 3, Jefferson, 4, Lewis, 1, Oneida, 1, Orange, 3, Putnam, 1, Schenectady, 2, Steuben, 1. Broome County now has all 5 of their towns. Let's add Nassau County to this growing list by signing the resolution for an audit today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next I have Tammy Topel. How are you doing? If you give me name and address for the record, thank you.
Hi, my name is Tammy Topel. I live in Northport, Suffolk County. So my friend Denise just talked about the 338,356 more votes cast than were voters who actually voted. So when you go to vote, you check in and you vote. Now, you don't have to show ID, hopefully that will change, but you vote, you cast one vote. And for there to be 338,000 more votes cast than voters who voted is a huge anomaly. The 2.4 million figure of State Board of Election IDs for 1.2 million people, that's more than 1 million more people who have State Board of Election IDs. Now, just, I don't know, I didn't know this, so for your edification, each person, one time in their life, is assigned a State Board of Election ID, and you keep that ID, that one ID with you as you go through life, and that is the ID that you have assigned when you go to vote. So the fact that there are over 1 million IDs that are unidentified, that are attached to voters, they are called clone voters, and they have been, the peer-reviewed research that Denise talked about was a brilliant cyber analyst has found algorithms in the computers for the State Board of Elections and the County Board of Elections that assign another ID. So this isn't at the county level, this isn't at the the human level of when we go to vote, but it's something is being done, and so the voter rolls are corrupted. And what we're trying to do is prove that we're trying to just straighten out the voter rolls. And what we would like with you signing this resolution that has been presented to you, and I have another copy of the resolution, is to approve an audit for the 2022 election. That is what the resolution is for. And the law states that you cannot certify an election if there are any questions. Not one county of the 62 counties in New York State had no questions. The county board of election did not, the vote at the end of the night did not match the state board of elections. Therefore, there were a million questions that were found. So it never should have been certified.
We appreciate that. I know that you forwarded some emails, so we appreciate that as well. Next I have Harisha. Harisha? Thank you. How you doing? If you just give me your name and address to the record, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Harisha Boydurgi. I live at 3356 Bertha Drive, Baldwin Harbor, New York. I'm here to talk about the same thing my neighbors talked about, Baldwin Harbor Park Shoreline Stabilization Project. 3 years ago, this project started. A lot of the neighbors did not like the creating a natural shoreline. We said that it's not going to work there. So now if you go and, a lot of the engineering departments said like, no, that's what they've been doing. We want to continue to do this, against all the residents' will. But after 3 years, if you go back and look at it, it has been failed in every stated objectives. It did not create more wetland. It created more like dry land, like a lot of sand on the canal. It created like little beaches along the canal. And then also there was no beautification, and there's no public access. The kayak launch that they put up there is like so steep you can't even stand. The other day, I was just there, and then you can't get in and out from that kayak launch easily. It will create a real hazard, disaster for anybody using it. So I would like to know what the town is going to do to fix the damages that was done by this project, and then make the beautification again, and then protect the shorelines. Thank you.
And I know you heard it before. Unfortunately, this was pushed by Governor Cuomo, Senator Kaminsky, and the Assembly person. All three of them aren't there anymore. We'll work with the DEC, and we'll reach out to them and express your unhappiness with it. I understand, and some people have had the same feeling about other projects out there, but I know that is Kathy still here, Carolyn, or not? She's in the back. We're going to take your number. We'll be happy to follow up and reach out to the state about corrective action to help you down there. So we appreciate you coming in. I do not have any other slips. Did anybody not sign in wishes to hear this comment? If not, have a wonderful day and a beautiful month.